The delegate from Virginia Beach, Delegate Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I didn't intend to rise today. I heard similar comments from the delegate who spoke earlier yesterday from another delegate from Arlington. And seeing 2 days in a row, I felt the need to stand. Mr. Speaker, you've been very clear that we will tell the full history of our great Commonwealth and the nation, the good and the bad. The governor's been very clear that we will tell the good and the bad of the history of this Commonwealth and this nation. And I've gone through the bills that are finding their way to the Education Committee, and for the life of me, I cannot find one that says that we will not talk about slavery, that we will not talk about racial injustices, that we will not talk about a whole bunch of stuff that I've heard the other side of the aisle talk about here. Now, what I have seen is that there are bills that say that we will not judge a person by the color of their skin, that we will not consider someone a victim or an oppressed based on the color of their skin, that we will not say that white people, the best thing they could do is just admit that they're racist. Now, I'm not going to get tied up in this, what is CRT, CRP, or any of that, but what we are going to make sure does not get discussed is that people are not defined by the color of their skin. And if you need examples of what are being taught, please refer back to the 5 or 6 examples that I gave in a speech to this body in the special session. You know, Mr. Speaker, one thing that I think has been very clear is that we need to make sure going forward that everything is taught, the full history of our state is taught. And if anyone here has a concern that any piece of legislation is going to water down, please come see me. I have an open door policy. I will promise to this body I have no intention, Mr. Speaker, just like you said yourself and the governor has stated, that we will keep back or not share the history of our nation. And if anyone on the other side of the aisle has a concern that that's what we're doing, please come see me. I'd like to have that conversation, because that is not what we're going to do here. Now, lastly, I would say, and the delegate who spoke has a lot more experience here, and he's seen a lot more in this great Commonwealth than I have. But yes, there has been a time in Virginia where the history books were not accurate, that it did skip over certain things. But I will tell you, Mr. Speaker, I was here in the early 90s when we had a Democratic House, a Democratic Senate, a Democratic governor. Heck, we had a Democratic governor, and I dare say a Democratic majority from 86 all the way to 94. And we still had history books in my history class that skipped over parts of history that I'm ashamed to admit that I didn't realize till later on in life. So you can't blame anyone in this group or the Republicans for doing something, because throughout Virginia's history, there has been things that have been skipped over. But our caucus is committed to making sure that we tell the good and the bad of the Commonwealth and our nation. That's what we intend to do. And if anyone thinks we're doing otherwise, please come see me. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.